The mystery surrounding Selena Quintanilla has haunted fans for decades, and the truth that's finally coming to light isn't easy to hear. Born on April 16, 1971, in the quiet town of Lake Jackson, Texas, Selena would rise from humble beginnings to become one of the most influential Latin artists the world has ever known. She was the youngest child of Abraham Quintanilla Jr., but destined to carry a voice, a passion, and a legacy that would echo far beyond her small hometown. Yet behind the fame and the music was a story far darker than anyone imagined, a story that now demands to be told. Selena's story began in a household where music and culture were woven into everyday life. Her father, Abraham Quintanilla Jr., a Mexican-American former musician, had once chased dreams of stardom with his band Los Dinos. Though his own career fell short, his passion for music never faded. Her mother, Marcela Ofelia Quintanilla, provided the warmth and stability that grounded the family, nurturing Selena and her siblings in a home filled with love. Growing up in Lake Jackson, Texas, Selena was surrounded by a rich cultural blend, the traditions of her family's Mexican roots intertwined with the American community around her. She spoke both English and Spanish, a dual influence that would one day define her groundbreaking sound. Abraham quickly recognized something extraordinary in his youngest daughter. Her voice wasn't just strong, it was magnetic. Determined not to let talent like that go unnoticed, he formed a family band in the late 1970s. With Selena at the front, Selena y Los Dinos was born, a small beginning that would set the stage for a legend. From the very start, Selena's voice was undeniable, powerful, soulful, and far beyond her years. By 1981, when she was barely 9 or 10 years old, she stepped into the spotlight as the lead singer of the family band. Her siblings joined her on stage, A.B. Quintanilla III, not only handling the bass but also stepping into the role of songwriter, and Suzette Quintanilla, who kept the rhythm alive on the drums. Together, the trio became the heartbeat of Selena y Los Dinos, a group driven by their father Abraham's relentless ambition and unwavering discipline. Their first stages weren't grand arenas but modest ones, backyard parties, weddings, small-town fairs, where they poured their hearts into every performance. Those humble beginnings slowly built a loyal following, while shaping Selena into the commanding performer she was destined to become. Her path to stardom came with sacrifices. The demands of constant travel and performing made traditional schooling impossible. Instead, Selena pursued her education through the American School of Correspondence, balancing books and lessons in hotel rooms and tour buses. Despite grueling schedules, she refused to let learning fall behind, proving not only her discipline but her deep determination to rise. At the age of just 17 in 1988, she took a significant step in her education by enrolling at Pacific Western University, where she pursued a degree in business administration. This choice would later prove to be crucial, as it equipped her with the knowledge to manage the business aspects of her career and her future fashion endeavors. Selena's journey in music began to take a professional turn in 1984 when she recorded her first LP with her family band, Selena Dinos. This was the official launch of her recording career. The next year, in 1985, Selena's rising fame received a significant boost when she appeared on the popular Spanish-language show, The Johnny Canales Show. This opportunity allowed her to present her talent to a wider Latino audience, and her magnetic stage presence contributed to the band's increased recognition. By 1987, Selena's star was on the rise. She attracted the attention of Rick Trevino, the founder of the Tejano Music Awards, an event that honored the regional Mexican music genre known as Tejano. That year, Selena received the esteemed title of Female Vocalist of the Year, an accolade that not only enhanced her confidence but also established her as one of the most promising talents in Tejano music. This victory marked the start of her reign in the category, as she continued to win the award for several consecutive years. From 1984 to 1988, Selena and her band dedicated themselves to producing and releasing a consistent flow of music. By 1988, she had already put out 5 LP records, Alpha 1986, The Winner is 1987, Muñequito Drapo 1986, Dulce Amore 1988, and Priosa 1988. Each album showcased her developing style, merging traditional Tejano music with cumbia, pop, and R&B influences. These records played a vital role in shaping her artistry and building a loyal fan base throughout Texas and the Southwest. On October 17, 1989, Selena's career took a significant leap when she released her self-titled debut album, Selena, under EMI Latin Records, a major label that recognized her potential to bring Tejano music to mainstream audiences. The album featured the outstanding single Sukiyaki, a Spanish-language rendition of the Japanese smash, and was produced at Ian Studios in Texas. Due to the success of the record and its debut on the Billboard Regional Mexican Albums list, she was able to expand her fan base. In the same year, Selena's rising stardom opened up non-musical business prospects for her. One of the most well-known companies in the world, Coca-Cola, hired her as a spokesperson. Selena and the representation of Latinas in mainstream advertising both benefited from this endorsement contract. Her first two Coca-Cola jingles were written by her brother A.B. and guitarist Chris Perez, which provided her with another opportunity to perform. The hit song, Ba Esta, was featured on Selena's second studio album, Ven Conmigo, which was released in 1990. One of her most recognizable and adored songs is this one. She became a major player in the Colombian genre thanks to her catchy rhythm and danceable beat, which also helped her gain followers throughout Latin America and increase her popularity outside of the U.S. The poignant duet Buenos Amigos with Salvador and vocalist Alvaro Torres was included on Selena's album Nada Si Contigo the next year, in 1991. Selena achieved her first significant chart-topping success when the song shot to the top of the Billboard Top Latin Songs list. It further cemented her position in the Latin music industry by increasing her broadcast on Spanish-language radio stations. The publication of Entre a mi Mundo in 1992 marked her real breakthrough. In addition to being her best-selling record to that point, the album made her a household name in the Latino community. It demonstrated her enormous popularity and the depth of her fan base by staying at the top of the Regional Mexican Albums chart for an astounding 32 weeks in a row. Her timeless hit Como La Flor, which became one of her career-defining songs and a representation of her lasting legacy, was featured on the album. When Selena's live album, Live, was released in 1993, she achieved yet another professional milestone. The CD, which won the Grammy Award for Best Mexican-American Album, encapsulated the passion and charm of her performances. Her impact on the music industry was underscored by her achievement, which made her the first female Tejano musician to win a Grammy. She also started to pursue acting at this time, making brief cameos in well-known television series like Dos Mujeres and Unamino. Through these engagements, she was able to engage with audiences outside of the music industry and give fans a glimpse of a different side of her personality. Selena had pursued other artistic endeavors besides singing by 1994. She opened 2 boutiques in Corpus Christi and San Antonio, Texas, called Selena, etc., and started her own fashion line. Selena personally created the clothes for these businesses, showcasing her love of fashion and her ambition to uplift women with her own sense of style. Amore Prohibido, her 4th studio album, was released in the same year and went on to become one of the best-selling Latin albums in the U.S. The album had a number of successful songs, including Babe Bom Bom, No Mica Mas, and the title track Amore More Prohibido. They all went on to become well-known songs that are still adored today. Chris Perez and Selena Quintanilla's love story was intense and complex, characterized by adolescent commitment, secrecy, and ultimately tragedy. The two started to create a close bond while performing together after Chris Perez was brought on board as Selena y Los Dinos' main guitarist in 1989. Despite the fact that their relationship began in secret, it soon became more solid. As they came to understand their ideals, aspirations, and an indisputable chemistry that transcended music. Their romance wasn't without its problems, though. Abraham Quintanilla Jr., Selena's father and manager, was adamantly against their participation out of concern that it would upset the family dynamic, harm the band's reputation, and eventually divert Selena from her burgeoning career. The group became tense as a result of his displeasure, and Selena and Chris were compelled to conceal their developing romance from their loved ones. Their love simply grew stronger in spite of the challenges, and by 1992 they knew they could no longer hide their emotions. Chris and Selena took the risky and transformative decision to elope on April 2 of that year. They drove to Nuez County Courthouse in Corpus Christi, Texas, where they were secretly married without informing their relatives. In addition to being a profound expression of love, it was an act of defiance, demonstrating their willingness to risk everything for the opportunity to be together. In the beginning, Abraham was incensed and felt deceived by their choice when the news was made public. He eventually accepted their marriage, though, realizing that Chris genuinely loved his daughter and wanted the best for her. Selena and Chris lived openly as husband and wife after that, and throughout the following 3 years, their relationship only got closer. Together, they created a house full of music, laughter, and future aspirations while leading a simple but contented existence. Chris has frequently talked about Selena's loving and encouraging nature as a wife and as a collaborator on their artistic endeavors. Their partnership was more than just a personal one. It served as the emotional cornerstone of Selena's existence away from her work, giving her security, happiness, and a feeling of normalcy amidst the chaos of celebrity. Unfortunately, Selena's murder in March 1995 at the age of 23 ended their love affair. Only 3 years had passed since the couple's marriage. Nevertheless, Chris's life and the hearts of millions of Selena's admirers were profoundly impacted by their love. Later, Chris Perez would publicly discuss their close relationship in both writing and speech, offering personal anecdotes that demonstrated their intense affection for one another. Since then, their tale has grown to be among the most moving and enduring parts of Selena's legacy. A heartwarming story of a youthful love that overcame adversity but ended far too soon. The agonizing topic of why Selena Quintanilla's life had to end so abruptly and under such awful circumstances has plagued fans worldwide for decades. Selena was more than just a budding celebrity. She was a trailblazer in Tejano music, the voice of a generation, and a young lady whose charm and kindness enthralled millions of people. However, a darker story that still haunts many who loved her surfaced beneath the surface of her prosperity and celebrity. In the world of Latin music, the mystery surrounding her death has always felt like an open sore. Even though investigators put the official version of events together, there are still a lot of issues that need to be answered. It became evident that the truth was far more agonizing than most people could handle as fresh information about the betrayal that resulted in her murder came to light. Yolanda Salivar, who started out as a loyal follower before rising to the position of president of Selena's fan club and eventually running her stores, was at the center of the tragedy. As Yolanda's obsession with Selena grew, what appeared to be a friendship based on loyalty and admiration evolved into something evil. The faith Selena and her family had in Yolanda was destroyed when investigations showed that she had been embezzling money from the singer's enterprises. In addition to endangering Selena's career, this betrayal was heartbreaking because it came from someone she thought was a friend. There has been a lot of conjecture around the mystery of why Yolanda behaved in that manner. Some think it was motivated by envy, some by avarice, and some by an unhealthy obsession with managing every aspect of Selena's life. For some who remember the day of Selena's murder, March 31, 1995, it still seems unreal. At a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Selena met with Yolanda with the intention of gathering financial documents and permanently ending their business partnership. It never occurred to anyone that this meeting would turn into a nightmare. What befell next has been defined in endless documentaries and information tales. Yolanda pulled out a gun and shot Selena within the return as she attempted to escape. Selena, mortally wounded, ran almost 400 toes to the resort foyer, leaving a trail of blood wherein she named Yolanda as her shooter before collapsing. Regardless of such direct testimony, the horror of that second nevertheless lingers like a ghost, and fans retain to invite, why did it need to happen in any respect? While people say the Selena thriller has subsequently been solved, what they suggest is that the floor information are clear. There was betrayal, monetary wrongdoing, and an act of violence that ended her lifestyles. But the deeper reality isn't accurate, and it is now not pleasurable. It famous a heartbreaking reality approximately fame and consider. Selena became most effective 23 years old, full of promise, and at the cusp of worldwide superstardom. She was getting ready to release her first English-language album, which could have in all likelihood made her an international sensation past the Latin tune community. Yet, the very character she relied on to manage her enterprise affairs turned out to be the only who reduce her lifestyle short. The best tragedy of all is that Selena's innocence and willingness to see the best in people might also were the very features that made her liable to betrayal. The aftermath of her dying most effective deepened the feel of thriller and pain. Yolanda's standoff with police, wherein she barricaded herself in her car with a gun to her head, made the scenario even more dramatic. For hours, she refused to surrender, speaking at the telephone with negotiators and dragging out the horror for all and sundry watching. To these days, Yolanda insists she in no way intended to kill Selena, that it was an twist of fate. However, for fanatics, the one's words ring whole. The court's selection to convict her of first-degree murder and sentence her to life in jail introduced justice, but not closure. The actual thriller lies within the motives of the human heart. How someone who changed into once so trusted ought to commit an act so cruel. In The Give Up, fixing the Selena Quintanilla mystery best brings more sorrow. The fact isn't always a dramatic twist or a shocking revelation. It is the simple and devastating reality of betrayal by a person inside her internal circle. It shows us how fragile life may be and the way fame, even as glamorous, also can appeal to dangerous folks that disguise their proper intentions. For her fanatics, family, and for the whole song world. The solution to the mystery is not accurate because no rationalization, no matter how thorough, will ever justify the loss of this kind of radiant soul. Selena's lifestyles may were reduced brief, but her music, her style, and her legacy hold to shine brightly, a bittersweet reminder of all that turned into misplaced on that tragic day.